if I don't see a trailer by tonight, then I'm gonna title this video something super petty, like promoting Shadow the Hedgehog since Paramount won't do it, or like drawing Shadow since we still don't have a Sonic Movie 3 trailer, something like that. Hello everyone, my name is Elena, aka Minty Mito, and if you're new here, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back to my channel where I do fun art challenges and talk about whatever's on my mind. And today, I just wanted to do something fun and easy that would also help itch my Sonic Movie 3 brain rot and address my obsession with the Year of Shadow marketing campaign. This year, I started to see a lot of Shadow the Hedgehog drawing trends and challenges on Twitter, and I was like, why not? Let me just go ahead and try this out. It seems fun. So I found 3 little Shadow the Hedgehog art challenges that I wanted to do, and this video is going to be very much casual and rambly, so feel free to grab your sketchbook or tablet to draw along with me, and let's just hop into it. Welcome to the time lapse, everyone. I have a lot I'm going to ramble about in this video, so I think the way I'm going to do this is with each drawing that comes up, I will briefly introduce the art challenge that I did and how the drawing process went for me, and then throughout the rest of it in between, I'm just going to start yapping about Shadow related stuff. So the first challenge I wanted to take part in was this trend that was happening after Sega released a clip of Shadow in the upcoming Sonic X Shadow Generations game where he suddenly just grew wings, presumably because of the Black Doom power / genetics, and I realize this probably sounds absolutely ridiculous out of context, but like, if you're not a Sonic fan and you're not clued into the lore, you haven't played Shadow the Hedgehog, like, I'm not sure why you're here, and I'm not going to explain, so if you want to know what I'm talking about, feel free to go into a Shadow the Hedgehog lore deep dive. In terms of the drawing itself, I had a really fun time with it. I was definitely intimidated by the wings because they are very complex, and the clip is kind of dark and a little bit unclear in terms of what the wings look like exactly, but I saw a lot of really creative depictions and interpretations of them when the trend was going around on Twitter, so that made me feel like I was able to let go of my perfectionism a bit and just go with what I thought was the most fun, and I decided to do a mostly symmetrical design because, one, it's easier, and also I thought it would have a really cool visual impact. I also decided to include Doom's Eye in there since I think we can tell that Black Doom is going to play a pretty big role in this game, which I'm really excited for. But yeah, I mean, this is a big year for Shadow. All of us Sonic fans are already well aware of this. Sega has been pushing the big Year of Shadow campaign. It's literally called Fearless Year of Shadow, which reminds me, I had this funny idea of doing a little animation of Shadow dancing to Fearless by Le Seraphim and then posting it on YouTube Shorts, but every time I think about doing it, I remind myself like, oh right, I literally don't know how to animate. So if you can animate and you want to steal that idea, go ahead, but also please tag me because I want to see it, and I need to find my Sonic X K-pop crossover fans, please. And I might also still try it if I have the time, but I have so many ideas and projects to work on, so it's not super likely that I will get to it. And something else I realized and thought was funny was that I know that I've garnered a small following here on YouTube of mainly Sonic fans on my channel because I did that video where I redesigned my old Sonic OC and then I started drawing your guys' Sonic OCs pretty regularly, but this is actually the first time that I'm really drawing a canon Sonic character in the Sonic style on my channel. Isn't that wild? I mean, technically I did draw Sonic in my Spider-Verse video, but he was literally like in the Spider-Man costume. You couldn't see him. And then the only other canon characters I've drawn were Amy, Blaze, and Rouge in that video where I drew them in their outfits from the Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog game, but I drew them as humans. And so yeah, this is Minty Mito channel history being made here, okay? Shadow is officially the first canon character I've drawn in his canon style. But of course I made the realization that I haven't really drawn the canon Sonic characters here on my channel, and the imposter syndrome kicked in. I was like, oh god, I've convinced everyone I can draw Sonic characters because I kept drawing Sonic OCs, but what if I can't actually draw the canon Sonic characters? I'm a fraud, but it's fine. They turned out fine. But doing this did make me realize like, wow, I haven't drawn Shadow in forever. I feel like a fake fan, and I really want to just start drawing these characters again. But even when it comes to fan art, I do like to add some kind of twist to the characters to make it more interesting for me to work on and to make it feel more like me in general. So whether it's drawing them as humans or in a weird style or drawing them like in a fusion or crossover with another piece of media that I like that's the kind of stuff I'm really into when it comes to fan art. So I'm hoping I can come up with some interesting prompts or ideas to do with Sonic Team for some future videos because I would love to draw them more, but I want to make it interesting somehow. The next Shadow art challenge I did wasn't a trend. I just found it in the replies of another Shadow related tweet, I believe, but I thought it was so funny to just draw Shadow wearing this style of skeleton shirts, so I had to. And not much to say about the progress on this one. It was flowing pretty nicely overall. I've got no complaints. I did think just having Shadow there with nothing around him was a bit too plain for me, so I decided to add his name in an emo style font with flames around it, and I actually really like how that part turned out. The outfit itself, I can't take it seriously, but I think that's the point, so I hope that y'all find it silly too. But getting back to what I was talking about before with how I enjoy doing crossover fan art, I think next week's video is gonna be all about the weird crossover fan art I did when I was younger, and I will definitely be putting out polls on my community tab to help me figure out the direction I want to go with in that video, so if you'd like to take part, definitely subscribe. Shameless plug, I think I never ask people to subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna try to get better about that because supposedly it actually helps. Anyways, I know I briefly mentioned the Sonic X Shadow Generations game coming out this fall, and to further delve into that, I am so excited. I don't think there's going to be any super major new lore drops, but I am really excited to see Shadow's new powers and if there's any more juicy details about his past that we haven't seen yet. And what I'm most excited for, and of course in relation to the game, is the animated short series they're going to be releasing in conjunction with the game. I am so happy and excited about that. The teaser that was released at Anime Expo was so incredible, and I can't wait for the full thing to come out. I am so thrilled about that. And wow, every time Sega releases a beautiful 2D animated short, all I can think is how badly I want a 2D animated Sonic show, something like Sonic X with a continuous story and we get to see all the characters interacting. I would love that so much. And I know this is a desire echoed by a lot of other Sonic fans, so I really hope that one day we'll actually get one. I think the increase in all these gorgeous animated shorts is a sign that they could be leaning towards doing that eventually, and honestly I think it really could be a super successful outing for Sega financially if they did so. Sonic Prime on Netflix showed that people are definitely still down for Sonic media outside of the games and the movies, so I really do hope that we get more shows in the future, and especially that we will get a 2D show. And speaking of Sonic Prime, can we talk about Ian Hanlon as Shadow? He was so fantastic and iconic and my favorite part of the show. In fact, I actually just absolutely adore all the voices in Sonic Prime. I know people had their complaints about the show, but I had fun, and I think that most people agree that the voice casting was so immaculate across the board. So I really hope that that show won't be the last time we hear these voice actors, especially Ian Hanlon as Shadow and Devin Mack as Sonic. They nailed it. And then of course I have to talk about probably the biggest hype news of the year when it comes to Shadow, and of course that is Shadow being the main antagonist of Sonic Movie 3. I cannot express how absolutely stoked I am for this movie. My only thing is I'm a bit puzzled about the marketing on it because there's been like none. But before I discuss that, I need to introduce the final drawing I'll be doing in this video, and we have the reason that you all clicked on this video. I'm kidding. But yes, Shadow the Hedgehog and Gothic Lolita. Here's the tweet that I saw, and I did see some people participating in this, and I screenshotted the tweet because I thought this was such a fun, silly idea, and I can totally envision it. So yeah, I looked up Gothic Lolita fashion on Pinterest and pulled inspiration from a bunch of different images. I knew I wanted him to have an umbrella, but I did struggle to get the pose down. I was trying to strike the balance of having him still feel in character as Shadow while also suiting the pretty and delicate nature of this style, and that was really hard. But ultimately, I'm happy with the pose I ended up with. It was simple, but still effective, I think. And also towards the end, I felt like I made his shoes way too small, so I adjusted the sizing right at the very end. I think the effect was still fine even with smaller shoes, but usually I try my best to follow the in-game character proportions, and they have huge feet. But of course, by that logic, I definitely made the hands too small, but that's fine. I can let myself have some mistakes in my drawings, especially a Twitter challenge. It is not that deep. But yes, getting back to what I was saying earlier about Sonic Movie 3 and the seemingly large lack of marketing, and I can see fans getting really frustrated that all we got so far was like the title bump. And yes, it was revealed / leaked that Keanu Reeves is supposed to be playing Shadow, and I'm very excited about that. But the lack of updates or reveals since then just makes it feel like that was a fever dream that happened forever ago. And it makes me wonder if the marketing team had a bigger plan for revealing that Keanu was gonna play Shadow, and I guess I just am a little sad that there wasn't any real fanfare. Like, when it was revealed that Idris Elba was playing Knuckles, he like put out a photo on, I think, Instagram and Twitter, and it was just this really big hype thing, and I'm really sad that I don't think we're gonna be getting that for Shadow. It just feels anticlimactic, even though it's an announcement that I know everyone was really excited about for the most part. But regardless of the Shadow casting, we also just still don't have a trailer or any visuals for that matter, really, aside from like Shadow shoes. And my honest, clear-headed, logical opinion on this is that I do not want anything with this movie to be rushed if it's not ready. I don't want the trailer to be rushed out. I don't want even the movie to be rushed out. We don't have to make that December release date if it's not ready. But the rabid feral rat that lives in my Shadow brain rot mindscape is like, where is the trailer? How long do we have to wait for it? I can't take it anymore. Like, full transparency, I'm recording this on August 9th and the video should be up tomorrow, August 10th, and I really need to stop doing that. I need to stop editing the day before I'm supposed to post a video, but whatever. If I don't see a trailer by tonight, then I'm gonna title this video something super petty, like promoting Shadow the Hedgehog since Paramount won't do it, or like drawing Shadow since we still don't have a Sonic Movie 3 trailer, something like that. I haven't decided exactly, but it will be petty. And maybe the power of me being petty will somehow manifest the trailer into our laps. I don't know. But it's just so funny. I really have no idea when a trailer's coming, but I do know that when it does, I will probably start crying, and that's embarrassing. But like, Sonic is such a meaningful franchise to me. They were one of my earliest artistic inspirations, and Shadow was always my favorite character. So seeing him on the big screen, it is going to be huge for me. It's going to be huge for a lot of us, all of us Sonic fans, really. And side note, this is embarrassing, but I literally had a dream a couple months ago that the movie came out and Shadow was only in it for the last 15 minutes, and the color grading was so bad that you couldn't see him because it was just so dark, and I woke up so irritated. The Shadow obsession is so bad that it's possessing my subconscious mind. It's getting bad. But anyways, getting back to the art challenges that I'm working on a related note, I really just love when Sonic fans tweet stuff like this, like, and they're like, oh my gosh, someone please draw Blaze wearing this dress, or please draw Amy and Sonic doing this pose. Like, that is so fun and so sweet, and it's a nice wholesome way to get inspiration if you're art block, or just a nice way to engage with the fandom, whether you're an artist or not. And I personally don't post on Twitter much these days because that site scares me and makes me angry, but honestly, I don't post on most social media these days besides YouTube, but I'm trying to get better about that. I know having a social media presence is really important for artists, especially someone like me whose art goals requires a certain level of social media marketing, which I guess brings me to another thing I wanted to quickly chat about because it's my other ulterior motive for doing these Shadow art challenges. Recently, I've been getting really inspired by independent artists who are selling their art at conventions and markets, or they have an online shop, and it's been making me really want to get back into it. I tried selling both in person and through an online shop years ago, but I didn't understand marketing whatsoever, and it didn't take long before I realized that I honestly just didn't believe I was capable of succeeding at it, so I gave up. But I've been feeling more confident both in my artistic skills and in my marketing knowledge recently, and it's making me want to get back out there and try again. Of course, first things first, I need to come up with some product ideas, and I've been told by a lot of people that they wished I sold stickers, so that's the first kind of product that I want to try developing. And I'm not sure if these Shadow drawings would be part of my sticker catalog, but I think the approach that I took in terms of how I drew these are definitely helping to inform the way I'd go about designing other stickers for my future online shop. Of course, if you think you'd buy these as stickers, or you have ideas for other types of stickers you'd be interested in seeing from me, feel free to let me know in the comments. That is something I would definitely absolutely love to hear your feedback on. I went to a small convention last weekend, and seeing all the amazing artist alley tables and stunning artwork, it just really confirmed for me that this is a step that I want to take with my art journey, and I'm ready to get started. I'm so excited about it, and coming up with product ideas and developing the artwork for those products is going to be a huge part of what I'll be working on in the coming months, so definitely keep an eye out for videos where I'm doing that. And that brings us to the end of this Shadow the Hedgehog art challenge, or challenges. Please let me know which one is your favorite, and for all of my fellow Sonic fans, stay strong. We have so much Shadow content incoming, and I'm sure we will be blown away once we get it, especially the animated short and the Sonic Movie 3 trailer. I know it's going to be fantastic, and we're going to have a blast. So in the meantime, if you need to cope by drawing Shadow wearing Gothic Lolita, you can join the club and do it with me. Thank you so much for watching. I love doing fun little videos like this once in a while. As always, if you know of any art challenges you'd like to see me do, Sonic or otherwise, please let me know. I love doing them. They're a great way to let loose and draw without too much pressure and get out videos more quickly to you guys. As always, all my important links like my tools, my socials, my BLM art fundraiser will be down in the description, and keep an eye out there for the reopening of my website and my future online store, which will hopefully also come out later this year, I hope. But in the meantime, if you're interested in tipping or commissioning me, I do have a Ko-fi page where you can do that. Either is very, very much appreciated. Thanks again for watching. I hope all my fellow Shadow the Hedgehog fans are feeling seen, and I can't wait to hear what you guys thought of these drawings. Stay creative, take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!